So we will do the last, today will be the last class pretty much of Tattva Bodha. But as some of you had a request to get into the Purnamada mantra, I will take it in the next class. I saw if I could, even doing it in one class seems a bit challenging. I tried to find some reference of Acharyas in our Sampradaya who've taken it, and the shortest I found was a 22 class lecture. But I will try my best to transmit the essence of some of it, at least in the next class. So coming back to Tattva Bodha, we were at the law of karma, and we looked at what is drishta and adrishta action and phala. We said that when an action is performed, it has two components. It has a drishta, seen component, and an adrishta, unseen component. The seen component is, of course, what you actually see the person doing in the action. We talked about that someone has pushed someone, right? And there is an adrishta, unseen part of the action, which is what was the person's intention for that action. So in our example, the person was trying to save the other from a coming bus. So, and these both seen and unseen part will give you two results, a seen result and an unseen result. So the seen result was as a result of the push, the other person fell and maybe fractured their leg. And the unseen part is the punyam or papam, correct, which is accrued for the first person. So, and the punyam and papam comes from the unseen part of the action, which was the intention, right? And of course, when all this is happening, even the person who was pushed, it's some of their karma coming back to fructification, right? Some of their punyam and some of their papam is probably getting exhausted. Maybe it was some punyam because they got saved, but a little bit of mixed papam as well because they hurt their leg. And then we looked at what are the three types of karma. And we said that there are three types. Shastra tells us there are three types. All your karmas accumulated over several lifetimes, they all go into this big basket called Sanchita Karma. And from that big basket of Sanchita Karma, one portion of it gets allocated to you for this life which was taken. And that is called Prarabdha Karma. So this Prarabdha Karma will determine all the situations which will come your way, not the outcome, only the situations which will come your way in this lifetime at different points. And it will also determine what vasanas, habitual tendencies you might be born with in this lifetime. Maybe vasana for temper, vasana for compassion, for being extroverted. Again, it doesn't determine who will you be at the end of this lifetime. It just shows certain impressions you're born with, and you can always become aware of it and change the ones which are not conducive to your goals. That's where the whole free will comes in. Right? So, and we started looking at what happens for each of these types of karma for a jnani and an ajnani. We said that for a jnani and an enlightened person, prarabdha is the same. Prarabdha is the same for a jnani or an ajnani. Once it's set in motion by the birth of the body, it will have to be exalted. We saw that for a jnani, though, it was slightly different because there might be pain, but no suffering. This might sound very hard to believe, but even Ajnanis experience moments of this, right? So say you had an illness or a big injury and you're lying in bed at home and you're in a lot of pain, maybe you just had a surgery or something, so you're in a lot of pain and suffering a lot because of that. And at that moment, a good friend comes to visit you and you get talking and you get into deep conversation. At some point, you start recalling old memories of school, perhaps. You start laughing heartily. And in that moment, you completely forget any pain you felt because you're so overcome with engaged in this moment of joy with your friend. So even Ajnanis, we experience these moments where the physical pain might actually be there, but there is no suffering happening. For a Jnani, it's like that all the time. And now the text will tell us what happens to the rest of the kind of karmas. You can unmute yourself and repeat after me. Sanchitam karma.
Sanchitam karma
Brahmevamasmiti
Brahmimasmiti
Nishchayatmaka Jnanena
Nishchayatmajnanena
Nashyati.
Nashyati.
So some of these words are probably starting to sound familiar, right? So this verse says the Sanchita karma is destroyed by the knowledge of I am Brahma. Nishchayatmika Jnanena. So Nishchaya was doubtless. So by gaining this doubtless knowledge that I am Brahman, the Sanchita karma is destroyed. This knowledge is so powerful that all the non-fructified Sanchita karma gets destroyed. And the implication is that there is no further rebirth because Sanchita karma is what is responsible for this, as we saw, innumerable number, countless number of births. This cycle of birth and death is ended by knowledge. Next, we'll chant again. Agami karma.
Agami karma
Api jnanena nashyati.
Api jnanena sitati
Kincha agami karmanam.
Kincha agami karmana
Nalini dalagata jalavat.
Naligata jalavata
Jnaninam sambodho nasti.
Jnaninam sambodhana.
Thank you. So this is agami karma, jnanena nashyati. This knowledge destroys agami karma also. But it's a very different kind of destruction that the text is talking about. We saw that for a jnani, agami karma does not arise at all. So agami karma is the karma which is getting generated through the actions that you're performing in this lifetime. And this agami karma does not get generated at all. So when we explained the law of karma, we saw that the motivation, the intention for any action is as a result of deha abhiman, is a result of association with this body, mind, sense complex. So I associate with this body, mind, sense complex of Spandana, and I think Spandana has certain motives. She wants certain things. So the intention comes from that association. However, for a jnani, they are no longer associated with this body, mind, sense complex. They know themselves to be Brahman, to be a karta. They know they can never do anything. Right? So when there is no deha abhimana, there is no attachment to the ahankara, the ego, the cause, the adrishta part of the action is gone, and hence the result, the punyam and papam also doesn't arise. So this is the kind of destruction of agami karma which happens for a jnani, that it does not arise at all. It's the verse says agami karmanam jnaninam sambodhanasti. The agami karma has no relationship with the jnani at all. And the author offers us a very beautiful analogy saying Nalina Dalagat Jalavat. Nalina Dalam is the lotus leaf and Jalam is water. So if you've ever observed a lotus in the water, you would see that oftentimes there would be a drop of water on the leaf, but the leaf is not getting wet. The drop of water just stays beautifully there. And at some point, it will slide off the leaf. So there is no relationship which happens between the water and the leaf. It doesn't get attached to the leaf. Similarly, the actions of jnani are done without attachment or relationship with the body mind, and hence they do not produce any punyam or papam. And so now we saw what happens to all these three types of karmas. Prarabdha, which was already in motion and resulted in this current body, will have to be exhausted, be it for a jnani or an ajnani. Sanchita karma will get fully destroyed for a jnani, and hence there would be no further rebirths. And agami karma will not get created at all. Let's continue. Kinchaye jnaninam
Kinchaye jnaninam
Kuvanti bhajanti
Tuvanti bhajanti
Archayanti
Archayanti
Tan prati jnani kritam
Tan prati jnani kritam
Agami punyam gacchati
Agami punyam gacchati
Ye jnaninam nindanti
Ye jnaninam
Nindanti
Dvishanti tan prati
Vishanti tan
Jnani kritam sarvamagami
Yani
kritam
Sarvamagami
Kriyamanam
Kriyamanam
Tvadacham karma
Yadvacham
karma
Papatmakam tan gacchati. Sorry, Papatmakam tad gacchati.
gacchati
Hruda
Tadgachati
gacchati
Hruda
Suhruda
Punyakritam drihda
Punyakritam drihada
Papakritam grihanti.
Papakritam grihanti.
That was a long one, but it's all saying the same thing. That's why I took it together. See that? So the author says, because the jnani does not have any ego, one has to be very careful when interacting with the jnani. Even if you insult them or ill-treat them, they won't be insulted, and or they will not they might not react back because of this Deha Abhimana being absent. So the author warns that if one mistreats a jnani, there will be some consequences. And the verse says, those who worship, sing his glories, and do puja of jnanis, to them, the punya earned by the jnani will get accrued or transferred. This is, of course, not to be taken literally. It is to be interpreted as if one reveres a jnani, they will accrue punyam. And it says, on the other hand, those who criticize the jnanis, hate them, injure or hurt them, to them, all the agami punyam will accrue or get transferred. Right? Again, it's not to be taken literally. So whatever, in this interaction, whatever agami karma is getting generated will only belong to the jnani. The jnani themselves do not accrue any agami karma, as we saw. So this is to be understood that those who criticize or injure or hurt a jnani, they will accrue a certain amount of papa karma. The idea is again re-emphasized at the end with the last line, says those who worship and revere a jnani, who can be called Suhrada, will acquire punyam. Those who hurt or ill-treat a jnani, who can be called Drihada, can acquire papam. So
But as such, a jnani cannot be known for normal people because you said they will be like us.
So you can be very safe and not insult anyone. In general, it's you can also understand this to mean that you do not insult a good person, right? You do not cause any harm to someone for no reason. And it can be taken more generally, like it is, this is also a bit of a glorification verse, which is making us have a devotional attitude towards jnanis. That is the highest aspiration of this human life. So these verses are not to be taken literally, but we're kind of just ending with some glorification. So this kind of brings us to the end of the teaching. And but we will speak a little more about this law of karma, because this law of karma is unique to Vedic teachings. And it has some extremely practical applications in life. Understanding this fully can help you a lot in your life right now. So there are some important corollaries of propositions which can be formed basis the law of karma that we just discussed. And these propositions can give you immense mental relaxation. It actually, you might find that you'll keep coming back to the law of karma to answer some of the big questions you had in life so far. Before coming to these, do you have any questions on the verses we discussed so far?
As such, with karma, the way it operates according to the text is we don't have any control over anything except to control our intention of doing that certain action.
To control your action, yes. When you say, where does intention come from?
So like today, what do I have control over? I have only control over my intention. I can't do anything about my prarabdha. I can't do anything about my sanchita.
Right. So that's why there is that saying, right? Your thoughts become your actions, and then your actions become your habits. So whatever you feed, like right now, you're feeding your mind with the scriptural knowledge, and you've taken that willful action of showing up for class. You could have slept in late. You could have gone for a weekend brunch with your friends. But you chose to instead come to this class and listen to the teaching. So there you had control. You had control of taking this action to come to class. But because now you did this, now you're getting something wonderful from this teaching, from doing this repeated action of coming, showing up for class week after week, you also created a strong vasana. You've created a vasana for wanting to listen to Shastra. And so you would have noticed, as even if you're someone who wakes up late, as the time goes, it's no longer a struggle to wake up and come because it's something you really enjoy doing. So by using your free will to make this, set an intention to make this decision, you're reinforcing a vasana. Similarly, one can reinforce negative vasanas, right? So asking smoker, like the more they smoke, the more they want to smoke. Or with any other habit also. The more you give into that sweet tooth, you say, okay, I'll have this one sweet after lunch today. And you do this repeatedly day after day for 10 days, you will really start craving that sweet after lunch.
Basically, life is what you make it, nothing else.
Exactly. That's going to be one of the propositions we have.
Thank you, Vandana.
So the first corollary is that we saw that every experience that we undergo in life is either because of prarabdha karma or agami karma. So my own actions in either this janma, this lifetime, or previous janmas are responsible for everything coming my way right now. My actions, it's only my actions which can give me pleasurable or painful experiences. And hence, I cannot blame anyone else or anything else for my experience. I cannot blame any other human beings. I cannot blame the world. I cannot blame God. I am responsible for whatever is coming my way. The past me is responsible for the current me and the current experience. I also understand that initially this is very hard to digest because there are some things which come our way which seem very unfair. And it's very hard to think that we did something to make this situation come to. But, and also many of us, we are used to blaming someone else or blaming external circumstances for our pain. This seems to somehow is the automatic response, and sometimes it seems to give some relief. But the more you practice this attitude of, I am responsible for what's coming my way, it can also be really empowering because you can realize that no one else can make me upset or angry. No situation can really make me upset or angry. I'm only allowing that situation or that person to make me upset or angry. You can, once we start accepting that whatever is coming my way is just karma phalam, that is being handed to me, and we learn to move forward. If the situation cannot be changed, we will start to accept with serenity and see what lessons can be learned from that. Because we also said that this is not a kind of a harsh, punitive sort of law. It's there Whatever you sowed in the past is coming back to you, but there is also a purpose. You have to learn something from this experience so you can move on. And if you don't fully learn what is there to be learned from that experience, situations you will find often keep repeating. If the present effort can make a difference, we will do our best. We'll put in our best effort, maybe pray for the strength and do what needs to be done. But in the end, we will have to accept that these situations which come have come. There is no point wasting your time wishing that it could be some other way, and just move forward. So it brings back control to you. It's not something unforeseen. It is something unforeseen, but it's not something, you don't know the exact reason the situations are coming, but you can take satisfaction in the fact that it is fair. And just as it brings us to the next corollary, if the past, the second one is, if the past I is responsible for the present I, by extending this, we can say that only the present I can be responsible for the future I. So if understood correctly, this can give you a lot of peace, but if understood incorrectly, people can get a fatalistic attitude about karma. The right understanding will make you realize that this is in fact the antidote to fatalism. You are free to create your own destiny in life. We saw that not all agami karma will fructify necessarily in this lifetime, but if the action is strong enough, the intention is strong enough, you can make things happen right now. But sooner or later, if in this lifetime or the next, the fruits of those actions will come back to you. This, we say, when I say you're free to create your own destiny in life, you have to remember we do so in a field of time. Not everything will result in an immediate result. But we have no control on the past. So an intelligent person should just let that go. There is no point crying over spilt milk, as they say. The law of karma is asking you to take responsibility for your life, for your future. You have to accept that certain things which are happening because of these forces we set in motion in the past, either recent past or a remote past from other lives. However, you are responsible for your future. You can take charge of your future. Likewise, no guru or teaching can give you liberation. You have to uplift yourself using the support of the teaching and whatever other tools your past good karma has already brought your way. Your past good karma has given you already a precious human birth. It's in your hands what you do with it. It's up to you if you want to start taking charge of your life. And it can be in this very moment if you decide. So these can be a bit hard to digest, these two things which I said. So do contemplate it on it some more. But if you have any questions, please also ask me. I'm sure the mind is coming up with certain objections to be able to accept it.
I mean, I'm trying to make peace with the notion that I am responsible for everything. So that's a step, I guess.
But these two combined together are so powerful. So making peace with the fact that whatever is coming my way is because of me also helps you gain confidence in the fact that whatever will come my way in the future, I can be responsible for that.
Because after your last lecture, what I was contemplating over is the concept of punyam and papam. So let's say I do something today, all that I can think of, I guess the difference between before the class and after the class would be, before the class, let's say it's easier to just get things done the way the world works, to get out of the situation. But when the concept of papam comes, it means it is getting recorded somewhere. So I am basically harming myself. So better to be, on the right track rather than taking a shortcut and getting out of the mess quickly.
Yeah, you do. Absolutely. So it creates a responsibility for you for the future you. And in terms of accepting some certain bad karmas coming your way, accepting, practice some compassion, for yourself. So if as a toddler of 2 years old, you playfully bit someone, and it ended up, maybe it was another child and they ended up crying because of it, you're not going to be critical of that 2-year-old you so much. Right? Like, I didn't know any better. So you took the actions based on your evolution at that time.
It's a lot tougher because we are not 2 years old anymore. It's like I should have done better. It's comes back to that.
Practice compassion. There's no practice the same. If a friend made a mistake, we all find it so easy to be kind, give love to other people.
Voice has gone. I'm not able to hear.
No, I can hear.
Okay. Neelamji, I guess you'll have to.
Maybe I will check my connection. I will check my connection.
Everyone can hear me well? Okay.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear.
Okay, great. So I was saying, we all find it so easy to give this love and compassion to other people. If someone, your friend drops their phone and breaks it, you'll be like, oh, yeah, that's really bad. It's okay, it happens. But if you drop your phone and break it, the reaction might be like, oh, I'm so stupid. Why do we do that? So learn to have the same compassion and love for yourself that is there within you and that you give so freely to other people. So same with when we say this past you is responsible for whatever situations is coming, have compassion for that person. They didn't know any better. They did the best with the resources available to them at that time.
So, Spandana ji.
Yes, Indraji.
In that case, I definitely understand that have the same compassion for yourself, which means same attitude of forgiveness and not being judgmental or very critical about yourself if you make a mistake. Now, suppose you make a mistake, like for example, if somebody is going on shouting or unnecessarily making noise and creating unpleasant environment within the family, and then you shout back. So, but
yes,
that's seen as karma, right?
Yes.
So, what is the you are getting papam out of that? Because you didn't really do it to hurt that person.
Perfectly. So like we said, there is no point. So now the action's already happened, right? So you already screamed at this person, it's done. Okay, can you do anything about it? You can't. You can't do anything about the fact that you already screamed at this person. What is it that you can do?
Yes, that's what I want to know.
Because
so many times you make a mistake.
Yeah,
quote
then it's called
a mistake.
So it's called praishchitta karma. So now there is something you can do, which is praishchitta karma. You can do something to make up for that action. And so a lot of these, see, the actions that you did in your past life and it's coming to you now, you have no visibility over. You can't do prayashchitam for that. Exactly. I mean, you don't know what exactly happened, so you can't do prayashchitam for that. But when it comes to events of this lifetime, you know what you did. If you wronged someone, you go make that situation correct. If you emotionally hurt someone, you can apologize, you can accept your wrong in the past. If you've financially hurt someone, you can make up for that financial loss. These are all called prayashchita karma.
Yes. That is where your free will comes in. Again.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what. So thinking, I've already screamed, now I already have papam, I can't do anything about it. That's a fatalistic attitude. That's exactly what we're saying, the attitude not to have. Instead, say, okay, this has happened. Okay, by law of karma, I know this will, anyway, we already knew that, right? We already knew this instinctively that I will reap what I sow. So, but now it's bringing it even more to your awareness. So what is the thing I can go do? To do that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Divya?
Yes, Pandanaji. So you have told that my current thoughts and desires will influence my future me,
Yes.
right? Now, how will I train my thoughts, or what is it that will influence my desires such that the future me is probably aligned to become a jnani?
Yes. So bringing more sattva to your life. If you're talking, as you're talking about the spiritual path, you bring more sattva to your life. So feed your senses, be careful what you, so even Gandhiji's 3 monkeys, that's what it comes from, right? Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. Whatever you're feeding your senses will make impressions on your system. So whatever habits you engage in, they will create your further habits. So I've spoken about this before, but so I also said as part of this prarabdha, you're getting these vasanas, past impressions, which you are born with, so you're already born with a certain set of impressions, but you can choose in which directions you feed that. So when a negative thought immediately comes to your mind, it could just be because of your vasanas. There is no point judging yourself for that thought which comes. But once that thought makes itself known to your outer mind, now you have a choice. What do I do with it? Do I feed this negative thought more, or do I take it in another direction? This is what you do when a thought immediately comes to, when a vasana makes itself known to you. And it was created because of multiple impressions, right? So just one time might not be enough. You might have to repeatedly create these positive impressions, this positive redirection of your thoughts. And in general, if you create more sattvic impressions in your life, having that more sattva is very conducive for spiritual growth. So we see the effect so easily. If you see how was your sleep matched with what you did in the last 1 or 2 hours before you went to bed. If you watched a violent movie, a very active movie, you will probably have a lot of active dreams or even nightmares. But instead, say you just closed your eyes, listen to some soothing music, sat with dimmer lights, let your nervous system relax, you will have a much more peaceful sleep. Maybe did some chanting, you can see how these impressions will immediately And whatever happens in your dreams also, that's your karma phalam again. Because dreams have no doership. There is no free will in your dreams. So everything which comes, all the experiences you are having, again, it's some punyam and papam getting exhausted in those dreams.
So this Vedantic attending classes, was continuing on the path of Vedanta, is also kind of helping us to
Absolutely.
become more sattvic.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let's finish the next 2 points and we can come back to more questions. So third one is again related to what we already discussed. We said that because now we saw that every experience is either because of agami or prarabdha phalam, results of actions done by the current karta of this life or the remote karta of previous life. Our intellect can usually understand that first equation quite well. When good things happen to good people, our heart is warmed. And when bad things happen to someone who's done bad things, it feels just. However, when it's the other way around, we feel disturbed. We feel there is no justice in the world. When bad people seem to get away with things, never seem to get any punishment for what they did. Or, bad things are happening to good people. We feel very upset. We get angry with the world, angry with the God even. This is because this second equation is the result of prarabdha, that a remote karta which is not visible, is also affecting the current bhokta. This equation is not directly visible to us. So this gives to the feeling of unjustness. However, now knowing that this equation exists, we can take comfort in the justness of the world again. Any perceived injustice is only because of myopia, short-sightedness about who the karta is. And hopefully this will give some comfort to our intellect that it demands that there must be justice in the world. And finally, the fourth corollary is that total karma cannot be exhausted in a birth. Prarabdha can be exhausted. Part of the agami can also get exhausted, but the big basket of sanchita, that remains. And because of this big basket of sanchita, it gives rise to our fourth corollary, which says there will be rebirth. The cycle of birth and death is a natural result of this law of karma. When prarabdha ends, only the body falls. The sukshma shariram continues and a new birth and body is given based on the next set of prarabdha. Which is why in our tradition, when someone passes, we don't say rest in peace. We say sadgati praptirastu, which means they have a better life the next birth. So that's the wish. Assuming they're not a jnani and they're not going to have any future rebirths, the best wish you can give in this culture is sadgati praptirastu. And it's only in this human birth, like we said, that the new punyam and papam can be created, new karma can be created. All human births, all animal births or plant births are only bhokta births. They're only for exhaustion of that. And this doership implies that it's only in human birth where there is free will, where you can change the course of your life. You can either do actions to get a better birth, or do actions to be completely free from this cycle of birth and death. And with this, we come to the last verse. I will chant. Tata cha Atmavit samsara saram tirtva. Am I audible? I think I briefly lost you there. Brahmanandamihaiva prapnoti. So with this, author concludes Tatacha, and therefore Atmavit, a wise person, one who's established in the Atma, samsaram tirtva, crosses over samsara, consisting of these three karmas. When the jnani dies, all three sharirams dissolve, merging into the totality. The Brahmanandam Jnana eva prapnoti. He enjoys Brahmananda even while living in this life itself. We already spoke about this, so I won't go into it again, but we said that a Jivan Mukta, an enlightened person, will be able to enjoy all these benefits of being completely established in this Brahmananda, in this life itself. And with this, it says, oh, there are some more commands. Tarati shokam. Atmavittiti shrutehe. The author says it has been said in the original scriptures, the Shruti, it's not his own teaching, that Tarati Shokam Atmavit, the wise one, crosses over this samsara. This is a famous statement, actually. Tarati Shokam Atmavit is a famous mantra from the Chandogya Upanishad. So even though the Prarabdha Karma may bring unpleasant situations, he swims over them, crosses over them, unaffected. So it crosses over to the other shore. And the author then quotes another statement from Shruti for Videha Mukti. Tanum yajyatu vakashyam Shrupachyasya Grihitva Jnana Samprapti Samaye Muktosyau Vigatashyaham Iti Smritesche Iti Tattva Bodha Prakaranam Samaptam So we're ending by saying the Jnani may die in Kashi, or Swapashya Grihe means he might die in the house of a dog eater, Swapashya. In the old days, this was considered to be the most uncultured of people. That's why this example is being given. Let him die in a sacred place or an ordinary place. the place of death or time of death or mode of death is of no consequence, because by the power of the jnanam he has attained, this jnani is already liberated at the time of attaining this knowledge itself. He's already been liberated while alive. So he's liberated from all the karma. And asaya means karmas which reside in the shukshma sharira. He's liberated from that too. So for him, all the karmas are gone and the shukshma shariram is also gone. And he's free from the cycle of birth and death. Iti smitishcha. So it is said in the smriti. This is videha mukti. The author is concluding that this is the power of this knowledge, and it is hence worthwhile seeking it. And finally ends by saying this concludes the Prakarnaganta known as Tattva Bodha. Right? So as we conclude this, so many of you possibly might not have moksha as a goal at this point, and that's perfectly fine. It is, you might still have, or let's say you might not have moksha as the only goal. You might have any of these artha, kama, dharma goals, and that's all perfectly fine. So, but now that you have this inquiry, keep feeding this inquiry and see where that leads you, because even if you're not yet seeking the ultimate goal of life, we saw that being immersed in this knowledge can give you so many benefits, which are milestones on the step to moksha. It can give you a lot of peace and joy in this life itself. It can give you a greater capacity to function efficiently and even fulfill all those other goals that you might have. Right? So it's a knowledge worthwhile seeking, whatever your goals might be at this present moment. And, of course, Tattva Bodha was a very short, crisp text. It gave us an overview of the knowledge, and we teach it as a beginner text because it's a starting point. Many of you will probably choose to do this text again to refresh, and that's great. And from here, most of you are already in Bhagavad Gita class. That will take you further along this journey on what is actually the sadhana to do, what is the practices to do, and what are these steps of moving up the ladder of this knowledge, of assimilating this knowledge. And like I said, we will have, while we finish with Tattva Bodha, we will have one more class, most likely next week. I will confirm that in the coming week, to talk about the Purnamada closing prayer. Now we are open to any questions like that.
I want to say something, Pannaji.
Please, Deepika, go on.
Actually, this is my third round of Tattva Bodha. Okay. So the thirst for the knowledge has not yet finished, I think. I really want to join it again, because in every class I learn something new. I don't know, it's because of me or something wrong with me, but
No, nothing at all.
No, it's not wrong. This is my fourth class.
Even I attended 4 batches myself.
Okay.
Mm.
So every time I learn something very new, I'm over 60 now, but I'm learning everything. I mean, I'm starting from the beginning, I think. So I should have joined at your age or like that, but it's okay. So I just wanted to.
It doesn't matter when, it matters that you're here now.
If you start a new batch, I'll join it again.
I'm very happy to have you.
Thank you.
And see, in the end, all the texts are actually telling you the same thing. You know, so right now it's still beginning of the journey, perhaps, but by the time you finish Bhagavad Gita and the few of the Upanishads, there is nothing, you will have the jnana. There is nothing new the text is really going to tell you. But hearing that knowledge again and again helps you assimilate that knowledge, which is why we all keep going for that class. And now we also all have that, those of us who are in the first Upanishad class with Raviji, we just have that Shastra Vasta. We love listening to scripture. So that's why we keep going for those classes too. And of course, we get a lot from listening to that knowledge again and again. And this same Shravanam at some point, it will automatically become Nididhyasana. Whether it's Shravanam, Mananam or Nididhyasanam only depends on where you are in the assimilation of that knowledge. That only you know, right? You could be someone who already has, like, they've already got this. Actually, this one text has given you most of the jnana. So if you have complete, doubtless knowledge about what the text is saying, you have doubtless knowledge that you might not have assimilated it yet, but you have doubtless knowledge that you think, I am Brahman, I am Brahmasmi. If then the Shravanam stage is actually complete, and then now, Mananam stage is already complete. But yeah, it takes longer than, let's not jump ahead of ourselves, but it takes different amount of time for different people. For most people, it will take a certain amount of time for sure. And after that doubtless knowledge is there, whatever further Shravanam you're doing becomes Nididhyasana. You're automatically already, because when you listen to that knowledge, then you will have the feeling that, oh, I'm listening about myself. And it's the most wonderful feeling because, we all love hearing about ourselves, right? You have a dear friend sitting in front of you and telling you wonderful things about yourself. It's like, oh, what joy. So, and that's what Nididhyasana is like. The scripture is telling you all these wonderful things about myself. So at some stage, Shravanam itself will become Nididhyasana. So indulge in this vasana for Shravanam as much as you want. There's nothing wrong in it.
True.
It's 9 o'clock.
Any other questions?
Yeah, no question, but just because this is a concluding class, or maybe the next one is the actual concluding class, I just want to say thank you really from the bottom of my heart for imparting this very basic text to us, because I think I came with the intention of being able to enter the scriptural sort of education, but without Tattva Bodha, you cannot really take the next step. All the terms and the concepts are very well explained, and that generates more curiosity. And then at this point, of course, I'm also enrolled in Atma Bodha and Bhagavad Gita. but I see there is a treasure of sources on the offline as well. And I've been trying to sort of hear constantly, and it clarifies, and it takes me back to Tattva Bodha every time, because I can relate then much better. So I see how far I've come, but I'm certainly familiar with the ABC of the scriptural education, I would say. And thank you so much for really doing it very structured and very systematic, and also very charismatic.
Thank you so much. It's been my absolute pleasure, and I've loved having you and everyone here in the class. It's the ones who stay till the very end of the course, I'm going to continue all along the way, and it gives me a lot of joy.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first class. I'm also over 60, and I think I'm only doing it for last 6 months now, but thoroughly enjoying it. Thoroughly enjoying it.
It doesn't matter what stage you came, but that stage where you come when you're ready to really dedicate to this knowledge and really open to letting it transform your life. When you come to that stage, at whatever point it can happen, the transformation can be really quick. So none of you here ever worry about the time. That complete readiness and surrender is there. The transformation happens at a phenomenal speed.
I mean, I can definitely say, I don't know about the FIR, I wasn't that great on it, but I think my quality of sleep has improved.
It's wonderful to hear.
My FIR is much better. I mean, I can't deny it at all.
That's great.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. It's been wonderful to share this class with you. I mean, yes, it is the kind of concluding session of Tattva Bodha, but we will do that extra bonus session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Spandana.
Thank you.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om.
Hari Om. Shri Guru Namah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Spandana.
Thank you.